Chayalim, please find your seats and get ready to join with your fellow soldiers around the world. The rally will begin in 5 minutes. Dear Chayalim, please find your seats and get ready to join with your fellow soldiers around the world. The rally will begin in 2 minutes. Dear Chayalim, please find your seats and get ready to join with your fellow soldiers around the world. The rally will begin in 1 minute.
Boom, boom, boom. der Ried, wo der Ewigste hat ihm ausgekleiden und hat ihm gemacht, dass soll sein der, was vereinzigt alle Jeden von dem Dorf, wo das ist der Nossi Hador, Hanossi Hu Hakeil, Teres Emme sagt, dass der Nossi vereinzigt in sich Hakeil, alle Jeden von klein bis groß, was gefunden sich in sein Dorf, hat geheißen verschreiben und notdrucken und befassen sein, verschiedene Takonis, und befragt die Maimorim seine, die Tere sein, was in See hat gelebt und sich in See hereingelegt, was hat die alle Sachen, hört man sich und man redet wegen See und man lebt in See, verstärkt das noch mehr, wie bald Azari Bachai, man lebt mit seinen Tere, und mit seinen Takonis und mit seinen Schlichus, mit allen seinen Schlichus, und das Gufe im Madgisch, als Hu Bachaim, als lebt zwischen uns und noch mehr in uns und lebt in Asamin Neufen, bis wann als wird der Rieker und alle übrige Unionen und Menschen werden seine Schluchim mit dem Schuss, aber wird Schluche Shalodom Kemeisi. Midi Shono Beshono wird noch mehr lebendiger und noch mehr starker und noch mehr aktiv zwischen uns und bei uns und durch uns bei jeder Jeden und bei allen bis in der ganzen Welt.
And welcome all of our special soldiers, Tzivos Hashem boys and girls, and their parents and grandparents. Welcome to our special Gimmel Tammuz rally. Today is a very, very special day within the 24 hours of Gimmel Tammuz. Of course, also special close to Melbourne. On Shabbos was also the yahrzeit of Rabbi Sarabransky, and of course today of Rabbi Groner. And this rally is actually dedicated to Rabbi Groner, Olav Shalom, the Rabbi Shluchim, Rabbi Sarabransky, and Rabbi Groner, the Rabbi Shluchim to Melbourne, Australia. We are going to start, of course, with the niggin of Tzama L'cha Nafshi. It is David HaMelech's cry and thirst that he misses so much the Beis HaMikdash. And to every chassid, this is very, very personal. That is our cry and thirst to be once again with the Rebbe. And the Rebbe will lead us to the Beis HaMikdash HaShlishi. And once again, the thirst of 2,000 years, Achmanu Litzlan of Galus. But in this niggin of crying and thirst, there's the hope that we know it's going to happen. So please join together in Tzama L'cha Nafshi. Remember, there are going to be several different types of prizes. I'm going to mention again soon. A bunch of different types of prizes. We have a game today. We have Connection Point. We have the regular missions. So the missions will be, of course, Torah, Tefillah, and Tzedakah, saying the Rebbe's Kapitel, the 12 Sukkim, and singing the Nigunim, listening to the Sichos. So we'll start with your first mission to sing the Nigunim. Join me in Tzama.
Tzama L'cha Nafshi, Koma L'cha V'sori, Be'eretz Yodei Yoyem Limoyi. Came back kodesh chazi sicha liloi suscho chvoidecho. Came back kodesh nuscho uchvoidecho.
Beautiful, beautiful. And came back Kodesh Chazisicha. Once again, we should see the Rebbe in full glory, together with the Frierdiker Rebbe. As we know, Gimmel Tammuz is also very connected to Frierdiker Rebbe with a very special message. I'm sure you heard this plenty of times, but originally Chassidim thought the Gimmel Tammuz was a terrible day. That's the day the Frierdiker Rebbe was sent from prison into exile. So they thought that's the day that the Frierdiker Rebbe is actually going to jail. First is part one of jail, where you get someone gets arrested, and then they go to court, and then they decide what your punishment's going to be. So originally they thought that this is the punishment, but really they realized that the prison, in fact, was a death trap. For those that know, there was actually a firing squad, Rahman al-Islam, waiting for the Frierdiker Rebbe, and getting out of prison was the biggest nest. And later they realized that, as the Rebbe mentioned many times, that Gimmel Tammuz was a true Yom Tov, because it was the beginning of the end. It was the beginning of the Geula. Continuing on with this special koiches, to daven for Bnei Yisrael, to daven for every Jew that they should have a Yeshua in whatever they need in their personal life, because that's what a true Nasi is. Doesn't just worry if we're learning Chumash properly, if we're davening properly, but how we're doing at whole. Moshe Rabbeinu, our first Rebbe, that's what he was worried about. Teaching the Torah, making sure they had mud, making sure they had enough water, making sure they were happy. Everything bothered the Rebbe. Everything bothered Moshe Rabbeinu. So without further ado, let's continue with Tefillah, the Rebbe's kapitel, Shir Lamailos Esa Einai Elahari Me'ayin Yavei Ezri. Where will my help come from? And every Jew knows, Ezri Me'im Hashem. My help is from Hashem, and Hashem never sleeps. Lo yanum v'lo yishon shomi Yisrael. Hashem shomrecha. Hashem is watching over us. He is constantly our shade. In fact, it says our shadow. Hashem tzilcha. Hashem's like your shadow. So wherever you go, that's where your shadow goes. Hashem is always watching us, and with that we beg Hashem brachas for our family, brachas for every Jew, for those that need children, miracles beyond. As the Rebbe himself said when somebody asked the Rebbe why he doesn't have children, one time the Rebbe said, but all my shluchim have children, so it should be Mekoyim B'Poyel Mamish, and for all the Rebbe's kinderlach that deserve children, and for those that need health, B'Poyel Mamish, and for those that need wealth, B'Poyel Mamish, and of course, to open up our neshama, to be able to to understand a little bit of godliness and to appreciate chassidus. And ultimately, all Hashem really has to do is fulfill one request, and then everything else will be taken care of. All Hashem has to do is send us Mashiach, and then we'll have health and wealth and ruchnias and gashmias. So without further ado, please join me in the Rebbe's kapitel. Okay, and continuing on. First, I want everyone to say l'chaim, and doesn't have to be on wine, doesn't have to be on mashke. In fact, when the Rebbe visited Gan Yisrael, and that's something else we should bring you about another time. But the only time the Rebbe left his office, the Rebbe was practically the only Rebbe amongst all Rebbes of his time, and in fact, really amongst all even Lubavitcher Rebbes, that did not take a day vacation. When the Rebbe told us the first mimer that the king goes all the way out, and in all the Basa Laganis, the Rebbe would speak about that in order to win, the king puts his whole life in front of him and gives everything up just to win this war. We saw this literally by the Rebbe, not a second stopping to help every Jew. By the time the Rebbe went to sleep, by the time the Rebbe woke up, and nowhere in history did a Rebbe that we know of, at least in recent history, not take a few moments of what they call dacha, a few moments of holiday, pasha, to rest, that the body should be healthy in order to continue. And the Rebbitzin, I think, once complained to the Rebbe, we have to go on dacha. And one time, I think the Rebbe was on the porch with the Rebbitzin, and they had a tea outside. And then after 15 minutes, the Rebbe said, "No, Mashon Yoitze given dacha. We already Yoitze to do our holidays." And the Rebbe did also mention when he went to Gan Yisrael, although it was an extremely difficult trip. In fact, many years later, when they asked the Rebbe to visit camp again, it was a very special year, and the Rebbe said, "I still didn't catch up from what I missed on that trip." And don't think the Rebbe was just resting in the car and looking at things. The Rebbe, you see through the window, the Rebbe is always learning and doing things. But nonetheless, it was important for the Rebbe to visit Gan Yisrael, his Kinderlach, because the Rebbe knows that we are the ones, and you are the ones to make it happen. And the Rebbe made a l'chaim for the kids, and in fact, then the Rebbe actually bought soda from canteen, so all the kids will say l'chaim. So whatever you're saying l'chaim on your grape juice, and I'll give you time, we'll say l'chaim again. So whether it's on your grape juice, or on your soda, or a bissel of aser, just to say shahakoil niya bidvarei. And we ask l'chaim, l'chaim kinderlach, l'chaim soldiers, l'chaim Rebbe, l'chaim Klal Yisrael, that we should unite together and look after each other, like our shepherd looked after us and looks after us. He wants us to look after each other, no matter where you come from, no matter if you're officially a chassid or unofficially a chassid, anyone, b'bnei Yisrael Yechuna, if you have the name Yisrael, so l'chaim should be good by you, good by your family, good by us. And like we said, Ad Masai, and just like the Jews in the Midbar said, Lama Nigara, you boys and girls have the right to demand from Hashem. Why should we miss out? Nowhere in history the Jews have to go so long without seeing their own Rebbe. And this is the way Hashem, you set it up like that. You set it up in a way that there should be a Moshe Rabbeinu, as we're going to see in the video soon. And you set up that there should be a Rebbe. And we're demanding and asking that you take us out of Golos and the Rebbe marches to the Geula. I want to show you three beautiful, beautiful stories that Connection Point put together. You might have seen this before, and for me, I think the three common denominators of these stories is I think I cried by each one of them. They are extremely special. And in the Rebbe's words, when someone said, "Rebbe, you are amazing," and the Rebbe said, "How is that going to help you? How is that going to help anybody else?" It's not about being amazing. The Rebbe said, "I want to cash in." The Rebbe said, it's about not just saying you're amazing, we have an amazing Rebbe. It's about learning lessons. So I think the first lesson of the first story you'll see yourself is about being, no matter where and no matter when, you could connect to the Rebbe. And the next two stories about sensitivity, about paying attention, what a real Nasi is. But again, it's not just to say, "Oh, the Rebbe is the best, the Rebbe is such a special Nasi," because this is what the Rebbe demanded and wanted of every chassid. And that's what happened. The Rebbe sent out shluchim, not famous people that used to organize things. These are simple shluchim. Who are the shluchim today? Yukalach. Any yukal in class that just called himself a chassid, decided you didn't have to be the most popular kid in class, not the kid that used to organize things, someone that just wanted to take Yiddishkeit seriously, take Chassidus seriously, and to go out and help another Jew. Please join me in the next three stories. This is shortly after Rabbi Darren arrives from his university, planned a massive concert. It was his first event.
Friday afternoon, maybe an hour or two before Shabbos, Having done everything that I possibly could do, I called up the ticket office to find out how many hundreds and hundreds of tickets were sold. And the lady says, 87. I was devastated. I have to say that probably the worst Shabbos of my life. I was standing at the window and I was looking out onto the campus, looking at the Fine Arts Center, and I'm thinking to myself, Yisrael, you see that over there? That tomorrow is going to be the scene of Yom HaPolah. The Rebbe said Yom HaShlichus just a couple of months ago. And how does a person in just a few months capable of having such a disaster? And I reminded myself of a story that I had heard about the concept of being able to send a pidyon b'machshava, to send a letter to the Rebbe by mind. And I was thinking to myself, if I was only a chassid, that's what I would do right now. I would send a letter to the Rebbe, you sent me here to make a Kiddush Hashem, and it's going to be, Rebbe, save me. If I was a chassid, that's what I would do. But Sunday morning, I give a look up at the plaza towards the Fine Arts Center, and there are lines of people standing there waiting to buy tickets. It was an unbelievable thing. The concert was beautiful. After the concert, we had a whole procession with a mitzvah tank and a sefer Torah. My Bubba was there. Right after the concert, she went back to New York because that evening, she was going into Chiddush together with the rest of the family. My Bubba said to the Rebbe, "Kum mitzder von Amherst from the concert." So the Rebbe sat back. Like his expression changed, and he started asking questions, wanted to know everything about what had happened at the concert. Were there politicians there? Was the press there? Did I make an appeal? Were my parents there? Then the Rebbe said, "Nu, und wie viel Menschen gewesen?" So my Rebbe said, "Über 1000." So the Rebbe said, "Was? Über 1000? Und nachten ist Yisrael gewesen als ein Morashchere." And yesterday Yisrael was so worried.
Once my son and my daughter, we came for Keshel Brochus. And the Rebbe said that I should stand and sing.
Эх ты, земляк, зачем ты чудак? Я тебе рассказываю, я тебе рассчитываю. Один у нас Бог, что на небе, что на земле. Один у нас Бог. Дружба наша дружба, наша еврейская.
And my daughter was singing also. She was probably about 7, 8 years, something like this. And the Rebbe said something to Rabbi Groner, and Rabbi Groner turned around and he said that she should not sing, but she should clap with the hands.
Дружба наша дружба, наша еврейская.
Next thing I saw that the Rebbe put the cup on the table and he turns right to my daughter and start to clap together with her.
6 наших матушек и 5 наших книжечек, 4 наши матушки, 3 наши батюшки, 2 наши таблички, один.
The sensitivity not to let a person, even a little girl, to feel not so good, and that's what is to me is the most amazing thing.
I was at Torres Chaim, which was on Belmont Avenue in Brooklyn. Shortly before my 10th birthday, my mother and my baby sister and myself went to see the Rebbe. We went to 770, and my mother started to talk to the Rebbe. My son, Shalom, he's been thrown out of the yeshivas, and the rabbi says this, and he's not listening, and the rabbis are complaining he doesn't like the school, he doesn't like the homework, he doesn't like the program, he likes eating stuff in class, and then my mother's crying and crying because she was searching for answers. The Rebbe turns to me, and he smiles, and he goes, "Come here." So I started the conversation because I was ready. I said to the Rebbe, "You're the Rebbe?" So the Rebbe looks at me with a big smile. He says to me 3 questions. The first question was, "Are you a good boy?" I said, "No," with conviction. I was ready. I was used to the scene. So then he says, "You like school?" I said, "No." Then he says to me, "Do you listen to your mother?" I said, "No." So with a big smile, he turns to my mother and he goes, Emes, it's good. At that point, it pulled me right back into the Yiddishkeit.
Wow. Wow and wow. How much further and deeper we have to look at a person and see the beauty and the neshama in every single yid. So Yishkoyach to the story from Rabbi Darren, it was actually the Zaidi of the Darrens over here, that a yid, no matter if you're miles away physically or years away, you can think, you can write to the Rebbe, and the Rebbe will get the answer to you. Number 2, of course, the sensitivity of, even though the Rebbe was following halacha and doing what we have to do in a tzniusdik way, but make sure no one ever feels bad. And the Rebbe is going to stop the thousands of people waiting on Kosher Bracha, so a little girl shouldn't feel a little bit insulted. And of course, the beautiful story to see what the Rebbe saw in every child. Not a troublemaker, not a bad person, chas v'shalom, but a true neshama looking to really explode and change the world. Now, to our 12 psukim. Now, I have to say a couple of things, so listen closely about the raffles. There are going to be 2 regular raffles for doing, we'll do 3. We'll do 3 raffles for doing your missions. So, the missions, again, is about saying the 12 psukim, listening to the sichos. It's about giving tzedakah, so Torah Tefillah tzedakah, saying the Rebbe's kapitel, so Torah Tefillah tzedakah, listening to the sichos, singing the nigun, and then you get into, will be 3 raffles. There'll be 2 additional raffles. If you noticed already, on some the clips that we showed, there were numbers for those that are used to the connection point. But it's okay if you missed it. First of all, you could rewatch it, or you'd probably know the answer by now if you were paying attention. So after, we're going to give you till tonight, because you can rewatch it, and if you haven't watched it yet, if you're tuning in later, you can still do it. So the raffle will be much later tonight or tomorrow morning. So you have a chance to do your missions a little later. Now, answering the questions, there's going to be a massive raffle, either for a Chidon book, which is, we sell it for $75. I believe it's almost $100 in the stores. And we're going to raffle off any Chidon book of your choice. By the way, we did do the raffles last time, and a massive Mazdov, I believe, I'm trying to remember her first name, but Cohen won the Cohens from Mahatham Street, won the Yadus, and 3 other children. So we will post Be'ez Hashem once again in the Chabad Youth magazine, and hopefully in the Chachayil. So the raffles, again, is doing your missions that go to chabadyouth.org/raffle. Once again, chabadyouth.org/raffle. At the end of the rally, that's how you get into the rally raffles. Then there's chabadyouth.org/sicha. We're going to play 2 more clips right before the 12 psukim. I'm going to now play another clip, a short clip, and then a little bit longer. That I'll help you out a little bit. It's probably for a bit of an older crowd, but you can try. It's all multiple choice questions. However, you can't just guess. You have to watch the sichos. In order to win the raffle, you actually have to watch the sicha. It's going to be $50 voucher of your one of the Judaica stores, so $50 voucher, or a Yahadus book. That will be for the Sicha. So once again, there'll be 3 beautiful Chidon prizes or some other prizes for the regular rally. That's chabadi.org/raffle. Then there's going to be a special massive raffle for the Sicha for those that are paying attention, and that's going to be a $50 voucher or a Yadus book, which is worth well over $75. Finally, we're going to have soon a fun bingo game. So I want you to pay attention now and try to download it. There's 2 ways to do this. There's going to be a link, it's already live, and that is chabadyouth.org/game. chabadyouth.org/game. I'll repeat it again. Over there, you'll get a link to a bingo board. There are 2 ways to do this. So once you click on the link, we'll ask you for your name, and if you're just doing it with your family together, you write your family name, and it will come up on the board. You can also do it multiple times and print them. The first one to send me a picture, so this is going to be a little challenging because you have to win and you have to get it to my phone first. So I'm going to say it now, I'm going to say it before the game again. So write down the numbers, I'm going to say it twice. You're going to have to send a picture to my phone. 0423 553 896. 0423 553 896. So once you win the bingo game, if you're first, you can take a quick picture of your screen and send me a screenshot. So as a family, if you want to only win, it will only be 1 prize. So your family may do multiple bingos by simply starting to go soon and printing them out. So you'll see on the top, you have an option to print your board and just mark them off with a pen. So make sure you have your board and your pen, or you can do it virtually. So once you hit once you click on the link and you write in your name, don't write continue game. Don't worry, just write start game. Once you do that, it will come up on the board and you can virtually click. If you're done, take a picture and send it back. So that will be the 3rd raffle. Okay, without further ado, I'm going to explain it again right before they play the game. But without further ado, we're going to do a short piece of a Sicha. I guess I'll voice over a little bit. And we'll then go to the 12 Psukim.
Nicht nur Adila, sondern gesehen der Chaim Chayote. Und gelernt Dämmel von dem Tee.
So the Rebbe is saying being a chassid includes not only that those that actually saw the Rebbe directly, and not only those that learned from the Rebbe directly, heard the sichas, or even saw him directly, as we know that when a tzaddik looks at you, it has a strong effect, but it also includes those that did not see the Rebbe and were born way after the Stalkos, but they can still be in touch with the Rebbe in a live way when they learn the Rebbe's Torahs. When you do what the Rebbe asks, then you'll be connected to the Rebbe just like before. Because the idea of iskashrus actually means bonding and tying like a knot, which a knot can connect 2 separate things. But you don't stay separate. What the knot does is make it one string, you become one.
In
order to do this, it has to be with a happy and freiliche way. Okay, and for our final part, don't forget actually tzedakah. So, just looking for our friendly Tzivas Hashem Pushka. And don't forget, Gedoyla tzedakah shemakareves es hagiyula. And tzedakah is one of the real fine ways how to bring Mashiach much closer. So if you do it now, or make sure you do it right after the rally or during the 12 Psukim, but don't forget, the point is to actually say the 12 Psukim. So Gedoyla tzedakah shemakareves es hagiyula. And don't forget tzedakah. Without further ado, the 12 Psukim. Once again, we're going to do it in a fun way. So please join as we sing the 12 Psukim.
And of course, we're gonna win this war with our most powerful weapon, the 12 Psukim. And let's see which base will sing with the most highest.
Don't forget, you actually have to say the words. Say the words. Don't forget to actually sing the words. Oops, sorry. And before we start Yehiratzin, once again, don't forget there's going to be a game in a moment. So the way to do the game is that you have to go to ChabadYouth.org /game. ChabadYouth.org /game. You'll get a bingo board. If you would like multiple bingo boards, then you'll have to print them and keep going back to that link. You have to put in a name, so you can do it as a family, but there'll only be one prize. So you can do it as a family, bring it up to your board, and you can virtually click it, or you can print them out and manually cross them off. I will need the results. So it needs to go to 0423553896, 0423553896. Be the first to win once you send it in. So I'm taking out my phone. And first we're going to go to Hiratzain. I'd like to ask two very special, 8 o'clock, two Yitzchak Davids, Yitzchak David Groner and Yitzchak David Cooper, very proud shluchim, marching in the way of their Zayda. Once again, this rally was sponsored, or partially sponsored, in honor of the yahrzeit of Rabbi Groner, Rabbi Yitzchak David Alav Shalom. And if you'd like to help sponsor this rally, and for the footage, for the prizes, you are more than welcome to contact me. But this rally, once again, is sponsored in honor of Rabbi Groner, Olav Shalom. Would like to ask two of his amazing Ein Klach, really strong soldiers in the Hashem army, and continuing the ways of Shluchas, as the famous Hayom Dam today, that every single, it takes, right, every chassid could be a one-man army, one person to change the entire world. Without further ado, for Yehiratzain and singing Sheyabana and Am Yisrael, we'd like to ask Yitzchak David Groner and Yitzchak David Cooper.
Go.
Yehi Ratzai Lofanecha Adonai Eloheinu Ve'Elohei Avosenu Sheyabana Ve'Samei Gashmeinu V'Yameinu V'Secho Keinu V'Sayrosecha Sheyabana Ve'Samei Gashmeinu V'Yameinu V'Secho Keinu V'Sayrosecha.
Faster, faster, faster! Okay, and we are up to the last two parts. So, just as a reminder, sorry for repeating, just in case anyone missed it. Number one, to be in the rally raffle, you need to go after the rally to ChabadYouth.org /raffle. ChabadYouth.org /raffle, and you take off the missions you did. Torah, Tefillah, Tzedakah, Nigunim, and listening to the short Sicha. There is the next raffle coming up right now, our bingo game. I'll explain how it works in a moment. But when you win the bingo game, you must send it in to 04. So take a picture. You can do WhatsApp or a regular text. The first one to send it in will win. It has to be a full board, and it obviously has to be the things and answers that I announced. So once again, you will have to go to chabadyouth.org/game. You can download or upload not upload, but you can leave it on your computer, download onto your computer, one board, unless you have multiple computers, or you can print them. So I'm going to give you another couple of seconds that if you'd like to do multiples, you'll have to keep going to that link and generate new cards. And once you generate those cards, you can X them off, cross them off as I announce the different answers. You then need to be the first to send in to 0423553896. That's 0423553896. First to send it in will be the winner of our Generation 7 Deira Shvi Bingo game. There will be afterwards our final part, our most special part, the connection point. Parts were already shown, but the main sikha, maybe I will probably chime in once in a while to explain what the Rebbe is saying. It is probably a good 5 minutes. So this is your chance to see what it feels like to train yourself to be by the Rebbe's Sikha and to really understand it. You'll have the questions. You can watch it multiple times to answer the questions. If you want to be in that raffle, that's chabadyouth.org/Sikha, SICHA. So today you have to remember 3 websites: chabadyouth.org/raffle, chabadyouth.org/game, that's for now, and chabadyouth.org/Sikha. Without further ado, let's go to Generation 7 Bingo. This is how it works. Once you have downloaded your bingo board, it has different things on your squares. Pay attention. I'm going to ask a question, and you have to tick off the answer. For example, I would ask, what is the first Yom Tov Jews ever had? So that's just an example. It's not a real question. So let's say I ask the question, what is the first Yom Tov Yidden ever had? And you had the words on your board, Chag HaPesach. Then you would X off Chag HaPesach if you know the answer. For example, if I would say, how many dibros, how many commandments are there? So if you would have the number 10 on your board, you would X it off. So I'm going to ask you a question, and the answers on your board. You may have an adult help you. And we try to make it fairly easy questions because it's more a bingo game. So you may have an adult help you, but the answers have to be right. So you make sure that you get them right. I'm going to ask a question. I won't say, so if you see the number 10 on your board, I'm not going to say, does anyone have a 10? I'm going to say, how many commandments are there? And you say, oh, I have 10 on it. Okay? So I'll give a few little bit of moments till you find your answer. And without further ado, let's begin our game. So once I pick, as I mentioned, once I pick a question, if you have the answer, exit off on your board. If you completed your board, so you need to complete 16 questions. There are more than 16 different possibilities, but you need to complete 16 questions. Be the first to email it in, and you will win our Generation 7 Bingo game. All right, and let me tell, and I now tell my computer to call the game. The computer will generate for me start game. Okay, and okay, call number 1 is, there are 2 special things that were in the Beis HaMikdash that the Rebbe corrected their design. Once again, there are 2 special things that were in the Beis HaMikdash. One were in the Kodesh Kodashim, one was right outside. 2 things the Rebbe corrected. They were the common paintings were based on Christian painters, and the Rebbe and Goyish painters. The Rebbe corrected 2 famous things that now Am Yisrael finally have their correct shape. That is the question. You might find something on your board that would answer it. I'm going to give you one more moment. Once again, there are 2 things that the Rebbe corrected for Am Yisrael, the shapes. Till the Rebbe's times, people basically based it on Christian and Goyish pictures. And finally, the Rebbe based it on a simple drawing and a clear Rashi and a simple Gemara. What are those 2 things that would be on your board? Next call. Okay. When the Rebbe finally wanted to bring Mashiach, he drafted a special force. What was the name the Rebbe gave that force? The Rebbe drafted special soldiers in order to finally bring Mashiach. What was the name of that source, if you have it on your board? Moving on. The Rebbe spoke probably more than any other Rebbe in history, thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of sichos. Much of these sichos were collected and made into a set of svarim. To date, they have now 39. They actually produced a 40th. What is the name of those svarim? Of only a small collection. These 40 books only hold a small collection of the Rebbe's sichos. In fact, that's the actual name of the book in English. What is the name of the sefer? Moving on to question number 4. Okay, this is the first of the 12 psukim. What is the first of the 12 psukim? I'm going to move on. Hope you didn't miss that. Next call. Okay, funny enough, this is going to be the last of the 12 psukim. What is the last of the 12 psukim? Moving on. Whoa, the computer seems to know some certain sequence. What is the international anthem of Tzivos Hashem? It is the international anthem of Tzivos Hashem. If you had everyone so far, you should have already 6 crosses on your 6 X's on your board out of 16. Question number 7. This is our 7th call for Generation 7. What was the name of the Rebbe's father? The name of the Rebbe's father. If it's on your board, exit off. The question is, if the Lipsker kids run into my room first, does that count as they sent it in first? Especially if their mommy's not home and on the way back from camp. And the answer is no! Okay, moving on. The Rebbe's mother's name. By the way, this is not the order I gave it in, so it's pretty cool. This was one of the first questions. Okay, the Rebbe's mother's name. Don't confuse it. Moving on. One of the first things the Rebbe began when he came to America. In fact, the Rebbe said that this organization, if you want to call it a program, will change the world forever. It will save Judaism. It's a program done on Shabbos, one of the first establishments the Rebbe established when he came to America, and Melbourne proudly does it till today, every single Shabbos. And the Rebbe told Rabbi Groner, Olav Shalom, that with this, the Rebbe will conquer the world. Okay. If you want to know why, call me later. All right. In the Rebbe, in a true Nasi Adar, as the Rambam describes, that is the job of Melech HaMashiach, to restore all the Torah and mitzvahs. There is one mitzvah that was really from the times of the Beis HaMikdash and almost forgotten for 2,000 years. The Rebbe reawakened that mitzvah and said that even though we can't literally do that mitzvah in the Beis HaMikdash, we can still do the idea of the mitzvah every 7 years. What is the name of that mitzvah? That is our 10th call. What is the name of that mitzvah? Comes up every 7 years that the Rebbe reawakened. And actually, reawaken. That was the job of the mitzvah, to reawaken. Okay, moving on to our 11th call. If you have so far answered every question, you should have 10 on your board. I have my phone out, see who's going to be first. Our 11th call is going to be how many miftzayim, how many formal. Now, there's really more than this because, well, sort of. Then we came out with many other different campaigns, but formally, the number of campaigns, the number of miftzayim, the Rebbe initiated. Okay, moving on. You have to fill up the whole board, yes. Okay. Now, the Rebbe, in addition, by the way, I don't know if you know what the Rebbe did most of his time. Give a guess. This is not a question on the board. But the Rebbe actually learned Torah for most of the day. In between helping out, and the Rebbe wrote hundreds and thousands of letters. To date, there are over 34 sfarim of these letters, and that's only the letters that people are willing to publicize, not private letters, not the letters that are lost or never printed today, and they keep coming out with more. 34 books already of different responses anywhere from health to wealth to chinuch to secrets of the Torah, to Kabbalah, to Nigla, to Chassidus, any topic you can find of. What is the name of this set of Sfarim? The name of the set of Sfarim where the Rebbe answered hundreds and thousands of Jews in thousands of different topics. You can find literally a topic about everything. And what is the name of this set of Sfarim? Okay, call number 13. So if you have all so far, you would have 12, and that means you only have 4 to go. Now, call number 13, what do they call the first Chabad Rebbe? We are the 7th generation. Who was the first? The first Chabad Rebbe. Okay, now a bit difficult, but should be really simple. As soon as the Rebbe came off the boat, escaping war, he didn't take months of vacation and relax and try to figure out this new country, which was very different than Europe, and a very different style, and running away, not having his parents with the Rebbe, not having his parents with him, not having anything with him. The Rebbe didn't just take, I really need a year break to just figure myself out. As soon as the Rebbe got off the boat, practically, the Rebbe got straight to work and the Frierdiker Rebbe gave him 3 major jobs. One of them was to be in charge of publicizing Chassidus, and opened up Lubavitch's first only, and has never stopped since, producing Sfarim. What is the name of the publishing company of the Rebbe? Lubavitch's publishing company, who to date has spread out to millions of Jews, Chassidus. The name of the publishing company to spread Chassidus and many other amazing things. And many Siddurim. Okay, question number 15. Okay, I guess it's too easy, but nonetheless, you always get a free one. We are the final generation to bring the Geula. What number generation? Since Chassidus has landed on this planet and people have literally started seeing Hashem in everything they do, we are what number generation? Okay, our final call. I will continue to call, by the way, because if someone else didn't have all these answers, and you haven't had a chat, and you do have your full board, and you haven't sent it in to me, then you'll still lose. So I'll continue asking. I am looking at my phone, and question 16 is, ready? The day of the Rebbe's birthday, who Melbourne has celebrated in such beautiful manners. The date of the Rebbe's birthday. Okay, I'm waiting for... Oh my gosh. I'm on mute. I'm not on mute. Okay. Someone wrote to me I'm on mute, but I'm not on mute. Okay. I'm going to continue with the next question to give someone else a chance. Call number 17. The Rebbe said, from ever since I was a little tiny boy, I already started imagining this. Whoa, whoa. We already have a winner? No. It's not. You have to tick everything off. Sorry, someone sent it in, but it's not all ticked off. So, the Rebbe, you continue. I'm going to continue asking until I get the right answer. Okay, we did get now somebody ticked in, and I'm going to say, okay, if now the Stearns just sent in, that's only based on the last question, although nope, it's wrong. I didn't ask all these questions. So the Stern family, thanks for sending in. It's still not, because I see some of these answers that I haven't announced yet. Okay, so you can't just send in a ticked off board. It has to have the actual answers. So we'll wait. Okay, the Rebbe said, ever since I was a little tiny boy, I already envisioned this. What did the Rebbe already envision? Next call. The Rebbe began a special learning campaign that had spread the world over. And if you notice the first video that we played, that the Rebbe said with a tzaddik, as years pass, the Rebbe becomes more alive, because all the things by a regular person, when you start campaigns, after a person leaves this world, then their campaigns, okay, a few people remember it, some people commemorate it, and it starts dying down. But the Rebbe is even more alive, and things happen more and more. And this is a learning campaign the Rebbe began, and in fact, with every year it becomes stronger, and more people learn this. What is it? All right. You still have a chance, because no one sent in a real board yet. I got a good couple of boards, but some of them are incomplete, and some of them are complete, but I didn't ask the questions yet. Okay. The Rebbe had the same name as which other Chabad Rebbe? The Rebbe had the name of which other Chabad Rebbe? So that is the answer. So the third Chabad Rebbe is your hint. It's on your board. Question 20. The Rebbe's wife's name. The Rebbe's wife's name. Rebbetzin what is the Rebbe's wife's name? And question number 21. Early on, one of the first Jewish camps that ever started, the Rebbe said he would want to make a camp not to keep kids off the street, but okay, I'm not sure, Karks, you have to send me a picture. No, Karks, send me something, but you have to send me a picture of your board, if you can. Okay, so the Rebbe began a camp that said not just to keep kids off the street, but a place where they'll be able to grow, to be Yidden, to be Chassidim. What is the name of that camp? Next is, okay, we finally, maybe we got it. Look at the Sichos. Alter Rebbe, Rebbe Zunchana, number 10. Masibah Shabbos, 11th of Nisan. The Friedrich Rebbe, no, I did not mention anything about that. So, I did not mention yet. Okay, so Feldman's, I'm not finished your board yet. It could be the Karix one, but I'll have to see a picture of that. Okay, moving on, the name of Lubavitch headquarters, a shul, a beis medrash, a place of learning, a place of Torah, a place of tefillah, a place of tzedakah, a place of Gimmel, chasad, the mitzvahs. Lubavitch headquarters, the Rebbe Shul. What is the name of the Rebbe Shul? Okay, and finally, the Rebbe was. No, it's not right. Okay, the Rebbe was the son-in-law of who? The Rebbe is the son-in-law of who? Next answer. The Rebbe wanted that every single shliach should build a center that should have the same exact name. Like this, any Jew, wherever they go. In fact, the Rebbe said he wants like a chain store. Wherever you go, you see Kohl's, you feel comfortable, you go on a trip. But the Rebbe wanted this international. What is the name of every Chabad center? The Rebbe asked that it should be a singular name, that wherever a Jew goes, they should know that they have a home. Not that each center should have its own name, but it all be called with the same name. One big chain that every Jew knows that even if you go from your hometown to another town, you're still at home. What is the name of this, of every... Okay, perhaps we finally got our winners. Camp Gan Yisrael. We have Mashiach now. Iguz Kodesh. Number 10. Coming of Mashiach. Hayom Yom. No, I did not mention anything about Hayom Yom. Okay. So now, without further ado, we have the name of the Rebbe's first sefer that the Rebbe put out. The name of the first sefer that the Rebbe put out, and it is a special calendar for each chassid. And the Rebbe said there is like halacha. It's a chassid's halacha of the day. Halacha also comes from the word halicha, that it helps you go throughout the day. And even sometimes you don't understand exactly the connection. The Rebbe said, "Yagaita umatzasa tamin." If you work hard, you will figure it out. Okay, let's see if this family got it right. Now, by now, some families got it right, but I won't accept it if you. Okay, 11 Nisan, Iguz Kodesh. 10 Rebbe Zechayim Oshkel. Look at the Sichos 770. Look at Seminara. Rebbe Zechana, Mr. B'Shabbos. Rebbe Levi Yitzchak Kahas. Torah Tziva Hakel Hayom Yom. Coming of Mashiach. Okay. So it looks like we do have a winner. We might have two. And we Baruch Hashem, we finally got a couple of winners, but we will announce the first to properly send it in, and that goes to the Tenenbaum family. So you have to tell me which Tenenbaum did it, but the Tenenbaum family, Mazel Tov. We did get a bunch of other answers. Some came in a little bit too early, so I can't count them. Some of them came a little too late, but a Mazel Tov. And thanks for playing. Our other questions were the day that the Rebbe took over to become the 7th Nasi, and our final question was, what did the Rebbe teach for many years on Simchas Torah, Chassid's way of life? And the answer was Negunim. Okay, thank you very much. Now for the final part, we're going to conclude with this special part of the rally, the most important part, hearing from the Nasi Adar. As the Rebbe said, that the way to be Mekusher to even today is listening to the Rebbe, understanding because that the Rebbe is not just talking in the past, but talking to us, and there's a mission for us to do. And even if we're young, we could understand it. So answer the questions. There's more ways. Even if you didn't win the bingo, you can still get into the raffle, as mentioned, for doing your missions. And the Sikha is going to be a massive raffle, so please join as we do the final part of this rally and end off with a l'chaim.
Als niet wie steht vor sich bei Madrigas Horesh wie eine Schomme. Nur lässt sich herauf in dem Guf und in seine Talmidim und mit Kabel.
The idea of a Rebbe is not that he's such a high neshama and so higher than everyone else, but the idea that he's able to come and lower himself down to each and every individual and deal with their needs. The Midrash Talmud explains how Moshe Rabbeinu was a shepherd. And he had a special test when he was tending his sheep.
Und die Schaas mod gesehen, hat die Skene Fitter in Asaminot, wo sie wachsen groß, wo das sie
Hashem noticed how careful he is when he
und
took
die
care of the
mittlere
sheep.
Fitter, dort, wo sie wachsen groß, Lefikech am Heim. Und die alles
Not only the story about the sheep that ran away, but every single day, Moshe would let out first the tiny baby sheep to get the softest grass. Then he would let out the older ones to get the middle grass, and then the young, strong ones to get the hard grass. And Hashem said, this is the Nasi Aram. But the way the Torah tells us how Hashem chose Moshe was that he was shepherding Yisro's sheep. Why is this expressed in a way to see that Moshe could do the job, that he was a shepherd for some David of Avodah
Zarah? Vodose der Pirush Nochir Vakedem Tartoni und der Rebbe der alte Rebbe das Mevair Afile Ahitus.
If someone does an Aveira, even, you tell them that even a mosquito was created before you. Even, in other words, even a mosquito is better than you. And we're trying to say that even a tiny, nothing mosquito that was at least he's doing his job, buzzing around, that's his job. But if you're not doing your job, you're worse than a mosquito. You have the ability to do amazing things. And the Neshama has the ability to bring you up. But the Nefesh HaBahamis and our Yetzer Hara likes to schlep us down. And when we go against Hashem and we listen to our Yetzer Hara, we are going against the very nature of our neshama. So a mosquito is even better, at least a mosquito is doing his job. So therefore Hashem wanted to see can Moshe handle even people that are not doing Torah mitzvahs, even people that are not behaving like good Yidden. Can Moshe tolerate them as well? And that's why Hashem said, oh, if he could tolerate the sheep of Avodah Zarah, then he could tolerate any type of Jew.
is a viele noch der Day, als Bnei Neer seine nicht mit Zuwahl Hashituf, is a aber dort, a dia wie die Sorge, wo schreit Ani, wie Jafsi Jid, wo das ist doch nicht Shituf, noch das ist doch die Zivui, was a Bnei is ich mit Zuwahl Chol
Regarding Avodah Zarah, some hold that the goy could believe in that Hashem has partners. But there's Avodah Zarah that even goy are not allowed to do. That's that there's many different gods. And therefore, when Moshe was dealing with even the worst type of Avodah Zarah, and not in a way that he didn't care, he was paying close attention and doing his job well and had patience for even such a terrible sinner.
Und was sie davon haben, dem Rakim wie Jolis, wissen die.
He took care of each individual sheep.
Even
Even though he knew that these sheep belonged to a very terrible guy that is over the worst Aveira, then Hashem saw, aha, then you will have patience for even the Yid that behaves in such a terrible, terrible manner. Not only for the heads of the Shvatim and the Nesiim, but even the lowest, so to speak, type of Yid. And the Torah is using specifically the mashal of the grass, because Moshe's job is not just to take care of the spiritual needs of the Yid, but also, like Moshe tended that it's even about the little grass, that everyone's getting their nice and the right type of food. That's Moshe's job, to make sure that it's every Jew gets not only their spiritual needs, but exactly what they need. And this was really what the Baal Shem Tov put forward.
Hat der Baal Shem Tov umgegeben, die Tzadikim, Nistorim, was
On one hand, the Baal Shem Tov dealt with the greatest and most hidden tzaddikim, the Chevra Kadisha, and the Lamed-Vav tzaddikim, but their job was also to go around to villages and deal with the most simple and ignorant Jew. And not only help them spiritually, but see if they need a job, to get them a job, to help them out.
In the Kretschmes, the Kayetzi Bazer, war dort der Matze Baruchni gewähnt Gorscheleke de Boy. Und hat aufgegeben dem Seder, am soll anheben von Bavoren in Zrochehem Agashmi.
Even though these were Jews running inns and bars, they obviously had a lot of needs for spiritual growth. Nonetheless, the first job was to make sure that they're doing okay and they have a proper parnasa and a proper job.
Wo demot ist auch das gewähne an Hoge, was mod angegeben für Tzadikim Nistorim, Bishas ist Galle geworden und geworden der Nisi Teres Achsidus Akloi.
Later, when the Baal Shem Tov revealed himself, became the leader of Chassidus and really the leader of the entire Jewish world.
Geworden Achilik von Teresche Balpesche Nisgalle, aber was nicht in Venesche Messinai, as an Shome geht arop le Matze.
Baal Shem Tov made it clear that it's possible that a neshama would come down in this world for 70 or 80 years just to do a favor for humanity. And that's really what the Rebbe was every moment of his life. So this is not just saying l'chaim to our Rebbe, but maybe more importantly l'chaim to ourselves. L'chaim, that we should be makusher, we should be connected. In the famous words, if we're tied above, we will never fall below. The Meir Primishlan once went to a mikvah on a steep, icy hill, and everyone was falling, and he didn't fall, and he managed to go up, and they asked, how did you make it? And he said the famous lines, if you're tied above, you won't fall below. Now obviously he didn't have a rope tied to the top of the mountain, but he was telling the Yidden a message. As mis zugebunden oibin fällt man nicht herab unten. If we're tied above, we will never fall. We will do the right things. We will treat our friends and neighbors with respect, and not only to love a Jew across the widest sea, but the Jew next door to me, my classmate, and the one that maybe I don't like the way they look, and to be sensitive and always think, how are they feeling? If I say something, even for a joke, and even if they're doing the wrong thing, I have to say something, as we learned from the story, Does that mean I'm allowed to make them feel bad and sad? To do everything we can. And when Hashem sees that we are together, kulanu ka'echad, we have the barchenu that Hashem will bench us. And then together we will march out of the Geula, march out of Galus to the Geula Mitzvah Shlema. And Mashiach will salute to us, as the Rebbe said, that the soldiers of Tzivas Hashem will march out first, and you will be the one that made it happen, and you'll be so proud of yourself, and tell your children that yes, we were those kids then, and it was hard, and believe it or not, we didn't even see the Rebbe, and most of our parents didn't see the Rebbe, and we continued because we knew this was just a test, and we knew that we were going to make it happen, and we made it happen. So l'chaim, it's appropriate that everyone should take a hachlata, and that's the last mission, to take us even a small hachlata, even a time-bound hachlata. And don't forget, if you're not formally signed up to Tzivos Hashem, to do that right away before you do anything. We also have special sponsors that are helping out if you're having trouble to sign up to Tzivos Hashem. So please be in touch ASAP, because no one wants to be in the back of the line when we're marching out of Galus. And may it be that we should be mentioned, we should be chassidim, and Hashem should have nachas from us, and Hashem should say, look at my children, that nothing stops them. I must bring the Geula that Yud Beis Tammuz will celebrate with as a real Chag Geula, that Shiva Asar Tammuz that's coming up on Tisha B'Av, as the Navi himself says, these will turn into Yomim Tovim, and we should takeh. Gimmel Tammuz will be the biggest Yom Tov of all. May it happen. Take of me ad mamish. L'chaim, l'chaim. And don't forget, if you did not write upon yet, it is a special moment, and don't miss out on the moment. L'chaim